We're live. What's going on, everybody? Welcome. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Appreciate you being here. And I'm going to just give some time for people to kind of roll in. And let me mute on my other side here. As you guys can see, I have Roxy on with me, but I'll do a formal introduction and we'll kind of get rolling as soon as we get people in here. I see the YouTube notifications going out. I'm kind of watching it on my other screen here. So we'll just, like I said, wait. I see Kendra in here and Tony. Thank you guys for popping in already. Usually a lot of people will just start getting notifications roughly about 30 seconds or so after I hit that live button. So we'll kind of wait for everybody to roll in. There's April. I see April in here. I see Eric. Thank you all for being here. I'm excited about this. This has been as we wait for everybody to trickle in. I've been waiting to do this for a while. Once Roxy decided to join us on this cruise, and one of the first things I asked her is, "Hey, would you like to, to be involved in the YouTube channel?" Because a lot, my whole channel is geared towards first timers, and so the opportunity to have somebody that I know, a first timer, joining us, so. That's gonna be fun. I have my family watching you all in my living room. I'm watching you both on my phone. Very cool. Let me bring that up so you can see it. So that's April. So April's gonna be on the cruise with us, Roxy. Her and her family of 20 some odd people, if I remember correctly. And they're also staying at the Hotel Maya the night before, where we're gonna be staying at as well. So yeah, she's having a little bit of a watch party, it looks like. So that's cool.
Great.
I see more people rolling in, so we'll just kind of give them some more time here. Let's see what I saw. I see it's I was telling you earlier, there's a delay, so I can see the messages. I probably shouldn't have it up because I can kind of see them there, but I got to wait for them to come up over here. Okay, so Eric was saying, wanted to thank you again for all the information. I helped out. Knowing my first cruise on that 11.9 was amazing. Well, that's great. I'm so happy to hear that. That's what I was telling Roxy, offline while we're sitting in the green room chatting. She's like, what do you get out of this? And I'll be transparent. I told her, I said, some people do it because they're travel agents and they're trying to bolster their travel agent business. Some people do it because this is their full-time job, right? For me, I truly just enjoy and I know it sounds cliche, like meeting everybody and the enjoyment of that. And helping others, for those of you that know me for a while, know that I used to be a police officer, and I became a police officer because I loved helping people. So, but you're very welcome, Eric, to answer your question. Hello, Yuliana. I appreciate you being here. Thank you. And there's Evan. Hi, Roxy. It's like watching Beauty and the Beast. That's not nice to call Roxy a beast.
Hi, Evan.
Thanks for posting the MDR menu. Might actually use it next cruise. Very cool. And there's Beth, who also will be on the cruise with us. Beth and Doug. Hello. So yeah, so this cruise, and I'll just kind of wait as I see more people kind of rolling in here. So this cruise on December 2nd, my best friend Evan and his wife Sean will be joining us. That's how I met Roxy, probably around 15 years ago, through Evan and Sean. So they'll be joining us. Beth and Doug, who are in the chat, they'll be joining us on this cruise, and a few other people that Vonavi, who's a friend from the community, a few other people. So it's going to be really exciting opportunity to cruise with everybody. Remember, hey, what's going on there, Moonlight Adventures? Appreciate you being in here. I see Puppy. Hey, Puppy, I haven't seen you in forever. Happy Wednesday, sweetheart. And that's what I love. Like I met Puppy the cat, gosh, many couple of years ago, and I finally got to meet her in real life when I went on the Carnival Horizon in September. That was just such an awesome opportunity where I got to meet like 60 some odd people that I've been talking to for a long time. All right, we've got people rolling in, but we'll go ahead and get started. Hey, Najuma Brown, I see you in here. So just hello to everybody just in advance. I know I didn't get to everybody that popped in, but I kind of want to get this thing going because I know people are going to be watching on the replay. So Roxy, go ahead. First of all, I'm going to ask you a question, then you can go ahead and hit me with your question.
Sure.
So what made you decide to join, or just to decide to cruise for the first time?
I would say it's probably because you've talked me into it. I've traveled all over the world on my own. I've traveled solo in the past. I've traveled by plane, train, automobile, and the one I haven't is ever been on a cruise. And now with you cruising all of the time and Sean and Evan talking about how wonderful it is, I don't know if it's peer pressure or maybe just my nerves of, worried about being seasick on a big cruise ship. I just haven't booked it. So I'm really looking forward to this first adventure with my 4 best friends in 2 weeks. And yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to the ship being decorated holiday style. It just makes me feel really extra nostalgic for the holidays. And yeah, looking forward to it.
And one of the things you did, just as a follow up on that, you decided to book a balcony because you just didn't think you were ready to do an interior right away, right? First shot.
Yes, it's definitely, I said it's my first cruise. I'm going to be a little bougie and book a balcony in case I either just need some fresh air or I need to just, look over the edge or find the horizon. So I wasn't comfortable booking an interior room, although those are very affordable. The balcony, I feel like we got a really good deal since we booked so far ahead of time. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to being able to have just that extra space and be able to look out and really see the water.
Awesome. I see a question in here, but I think this is probably one of the questions you're going to ask. So we'll definitely get to that question, April, because I know that you were peppering me with questions last time we chatted, and I told you save them all for the live show. Let's do this on a live show. So. And I remember that was one of the questions, but go ahead. I'd let you start with the list.
So as a first-time cruiser, I can only really relate this to going to the airport and getting on a plane. And so, you talk a lot about embarkation day and that cruise day. You get to the port and the check-in process and, what paperwork do you need? Because I'm used to going to the airport and taking my passport, having my phone. They scan my phone with my ticket on it, so I don't ever really have to print anything out. So I guess, what do I need as far as my paperwork when I show up on that day?
So yeah, that's an excellent question because a lot of people, that's all they can really relate it to is an airport. And there's definitely some differences because one of the questions I usually ask is around liquids and having liquids in your carry-ons and things like that, which doesn't apply in this particular case. There are some restrictions around liquids, and I'll talk about that in a second. So basically, the embarkation for us and this is for the Long Beach Cruise Terminal for this 3-day cruise. Consists of making sure you have your boarding pass and your passport. You no longer need your vaccination card. In November, when Evan and I went, we didn't need it. We brought it with us just in case, but as we expected, we didn't need our vaccination card. COVID testing is no longer required, so you basically need that boarding pass and passport. So when you come in, you'll walk in. I'm sure you've probably seen it maybe in pictures and stuff, this big dome building. And just outside that big dome building, there'll be 3 separate lines. There's one for the people that are there for their appointment time, which in our case, I think Evan and I have a 10 to 10:30. We'll find out what you guys have here in a couple of days. And then there's a line for, well, it's labeled suites, but I found out that it's actually suites, platinum and diamond guests, and actually wedding guests. And then over to the far left, it's for if you come earlier or later. So what I'm thinking is, let's just say Evan and I are 10 to 10:30, and let's say you and Sean are 10:30 to 11. You could go over to the 10:30 to 11 line, and eventually we'll kind of cross paths inside the terminal. So once you walk in, you'll kind of go through a little zigzag line, and then you have these little tabletops. And at those tabletops is when they're going to ask you for your boarding pass and for your passport. At that point, they'll also may or may not take a picture of you. If your picture on your passport matches what you look like now, they'll just use that photo. If it doesn't, they'll ask you to take a picture. It's funny. And I don't know, I guess it depends on the person doing it. The last time I went in October, they didn't take a picture. This time they took a picture. So I don't know why, but anyway, so that's where they would take a picture of you that they'll use for your photo on the ship as well, because they'll bring up your photo when you use your sailing sign card or use your boarding pass in the beginning. They'll use that photo to identify you, like for your cheers, if you have a cheers package that I know you're planning on getting, things like that. Once you get past that initial check-in, you'll go through the security check-in. This is where it's similar to the airport, as in it has like an X-ray scanner.
TSA, yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're not really TSA agents, but yeah. So yeah, it's a security scanner, and you walk through a metal detector. After you pass through that, they'll check your boarding pass one more time before you get through into the main sitting area, and then you sit and wait for your boarding time to be called.
Okay, so you sit and wait. They take your luggage from you, but you get to keep kind of whatever backpack or carry-on luggage with you. Can you bring liquids? Can I bring a bottle of alcohol in my luggage? You know, a bottle of wine or champagne if it's a special occasion. What is I think somebody also asked too, can they bring their joints? You know, is that even allowed, you know, to be packed into your luggage? I mean, what are the restrictions when it comes to stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So first of all, let me just address the marijuana question. Not allowed, just because it's California. You know, it's the same restrictions you would have on an airplane or anything like that. You can't, and it's in the rules and the Carnival rules and stuff like that it's not allowed. So no drugs, and even though marijuana is legal in California, you cannot bring it on the cruise ship. So I would highly advise not to bring it, but you know, you guys are all grown adults and do what you think you want to, but no, Carnival's rules say no to marijuana. So now let me address your question. As far as alcohol, you could bring one bottle of wine or champagne per adult. So let's just say, like in our case, there's 4 of us that are coming together. I mean, I know there's other people in our group,
right?
But like I don't drink wine, and let's just say you want me to bring a bottle of wine for you. You know, I could bring an extra bottle, so it's 1 per adult, and it's wine or champagne. And then for the sodas, it's a 12-pack, and it doesn't have to really be soda; it could be juices or whatever. It's mainly a 12 cans, or like, you know, the
Like
paper
cartons or something.
Water cartons or whatever.
Yeah.
As long as it's under 12 ounces, 12 ounces or less. So yeah, you could bring those again, and that's 1 per person. So if you have multiple kids with you or whatever, each one of those people can bring with them a 12-pack of soda with them. So.
Okay. Well, that's great. So again, I need to print my boarding pass. It's not something I can just use on the app. So I need to print on paper. And as a millennial, I will have to find a printer to print my boarding pass. And then also the luggage tag. You told me that there's a special luggage tag that you have to get on Amazon. Great deal. You attach to your luggage, and then you print a pass for that tag before arriving, right? It's not something they give you.
That's correct. So let me just address the boarding pass thing. So Carnival at this point does not have the ability to scan. I mean, even though you can see it on your phone or whatever, they don't have the ability to scan. There's like a little barcode up at the top right corner. They don't have the ability to scan that on a phone. So if you don't bring it with you, they'll print one out for you there. It just kind of prolongs the process if you choose to do that. Of course, we'll get you covered. We'll print one out for you.
Thank you, Evan. I saw in the comments he said he would do it for me. Thank you.
He's all over that. So, but you know, to address your question, yeah, and I don't know about other cruise lines, but I know Carnival right now is not able to scan it on your phone. On the luggage tag thing, you don't. I mean, the plastic thing that you just showed is just something that many cruisers have kind of said, hey, you know, that's and here's why. Like in the beginning, before I knew all this stuff, right? When I first started cruising, I knew nothing about all these things. I didn't watch YouTube. I didn't, you know, I wasn't part of Facebook groups. So I would take my luggage tag and I would bring a stapler with me and then staple it onto the top of my bag. The problem is that, you know, that bag you're handing over to a porter, it could get ripped off, and then you could potentially lose your luggage because they don't know who that belongs to. So that's why a lot of people prefer to use those plastic things. You put it inside the sleeve, and there's less chances of losing that tag. So that's, you know, it's not mandatory for anybody watching this video now or on a replay. Those tags or those plastic sleeves that Roxy was showing are not mandatory, but for the reason I just gave, yes, you could just staple on the printed luggage tags. But again, do you really want to risk having them, you know, torn and losing your bag?
Have to recover your luggage some way. There's also a question. Looks like April's asking, can my kids bring a 12-pack as well, or is it per adult? So great question.
So yeah, so it's a 12 pack per person. The wine and champagne is per adult, but each one of your kids can have their own 12 pack. And I saw another question went up from Yelania. Does the liquid restrictions apply for children too? We have 2 kids coming with us. Can they each? Oh, same question. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So every one of the people traveling with you can have their own 12 pack. So you can always print at your local library. Yep, that's great advice from Heidi. Hi, Heidi. Welcome in. We take Red Bull, Monster, coffee as long as it's in cans.
Smart.
Yep, good advice. You can print your boarding pass at UPS. So those are options. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I appreciate everybody dropping those things. And the reason why I want to read them is because on the replay, even though I have the live chat available for people to watch on replay, not everybody's going to read through the comments. So I do want to bring it up. So thank you for pointing those out. All right, go ahead with the next question.
Yeah, so we've moved on through checking in. We've gotten what you've mentioned was a sign and sail card. So it's like a plastic card that they give you with your picture on it. What is this for? Do I need to have it always on me? Do I need to bring a lanyard? Do they give you a lanyard? Kind of just tell us more about what this is and yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a common one that people ask is when they ask questions and people mention the sail and I always get it. I always want to say sign and sail, but it's actually sail and sign card, I believe. Anyway, either way, they know what the card will be available. They used to give it to you upon check-in. Now you pick it up at your room, at your cabin at 1:30 when the rooms are ready. So that for everyone that's not platinum, diamond, or suite guest, the cabins will be available at 1:30 p.m. As a platinum, diamond, or suite guest, one nice little perk they give us is the ability to go and drop off our stuff in our room. If the key's there, sometimes they'll let you take the cabin key. But for the most part, just expect the cabin key to be available at 1:30. So I do want to correct, sorry, I may have said this, but I didn't incorrectly, but the picture that they take is not on the actual card. It's on their computer. So when they put in there's like a thing called a folio number. I think it's like a 5-digit number. When they put in that folio number, it brings up your picture on their computers. So there's not an actual picture on the card. But in the interim, until you get your sail and sign card, you will use your boarding pass again while you need it printed.
Okay.
For you have the Cheers package, right? Or if I just want
yes. So right when I get on the ship, I want a drink
you will need that
to help me, get ready.
yeah, it will help. There's a question there, but so the sail and sign card will be picked up at your cabin at 1:30 when your cabin is ready. In the interim, again, you'll use your boarding pass to purchase your drinks. You'll use that when you go to your muster station as well. That's how they'll identify you and say, oh, you've done your muster. They'll use that.
I'm so glad you mentioned that because I've heard this. I thought you were saying mustard, like the yellow stuff you put on a hot dog. What is a muster station? Do I have to do like jumping jacks as a group or something? Like what is that? And what is it required of me to do? It's a requirement, right? That everyone has to go to their muster station.
Yeah, it's basically a safety briefing. I'll tell you, it's funny. We didn't have to do jumping jacks, but in the past, pre-COVID, they lined you up. I was like a can of sardines, like I don't know, maybe eight deep by 8 wide or whatever.
Wow!
And you lined up either out on the Lido deck or underneath, like by where the lifeboats are. It was a miserable experience. If there was anything good that came out of COVID, was getting rid of that way of doing muster. So currently you show up to whatever your muster station is, and they do like a quick safety briefing. Here's how you put on your life vest. This is what you do. This is where you have to come when you, if God forbid something would happen, this is where you show up. It's minutes. Like before, it was like half an hour or longer because they're waiting for everybody to line up. And you imagine kids that don't want to stand there. It's hot, like during the summertime when it's hot and humid. It was, again, a miserable experience. It's so much nicer now. It's definitely a nicer experience. But yeah, it's just basically a safety briefing that they have to because of maritime laws. Let me just get to some of these comments. Thank you real quick. Daniel Sanchez says, hey, Ani, thank you so much for your advice. We took the Halloween cruise to Mexico, and all your advice helped so much. You're very welcome. Thank you so much, Daniel, for mentioning that. when or how can we upgrade the rooms. That you may or may not get a upgrade offer through Carnival. I mean, you can always call your travel agent, call your personal vacation planner, or if you booked directly through Carnival, contact them to see if our upgrades are available. Or you could, I mean, they're not technically upgrades. If you have an interior and you want to move to an ocean view or balcony, but sometimes they'll send you little offers. Like I got one recently, but it wasn't very good. It was like, do you want a better interior or an obstructed ocean view for like $50? I'm like, nah, not really worth it. So, but typically, if you don't get those offers, you'll get them in your cruise manager page. You can always contact whoever you booked it through, Yolanya. Or you can use your room number.
Is that to get the drink instead of your... Is that true? You can enter just, I guess I have to learn what my room number is.
yeah, you can just give them, they'll ask you if you know your cabin number is, but most people are like, at that point, haven't even memorized it. Heck, sometimes people go through a whole cruise.
I don't even know what floor I'm going to be on at that point. Just turn me around.
That's good. What is cruise cash? Is that something, do we need to add onto our sign and snuff card?
Good question. Good question.
Yeah. So the cruise cash is just a way for people that don't want to use credit cards. So I don't know if you saw that, like when you check in. Well, you haven't checked in yet, April. You will here in another day or so. But when you check in, I'll ask you to assign a credit card to your account, or you could do cash. What it will tell you is if you choose the cash option, is when you go in right away when you check in, you have to go and add the cash to get services. So, or at the customer service. So that's one of the things that's changed recently. I just kind of want to reverse back to the check-in process. So there used to be like a long row on the far right side of the building that was like a fourth check-in spot where you showed your passport, etc. That's now a customer service area for anything like if you have some document issues or things like that. But it's also where you can maybe change your credit card or add cash to it. But cruise cash people use in lieu of, here's my only thing with cruise cash, I'll tell you, April, is that if you don't use it, you lose it. So, just add as you go along. Like if you know how much you might want to spend, just add enough to whatever they require you to, if you don't plan on signing a credit card to. But I don't recommend it because, again, if you don't use it, you lose it.
Can you get a Carnival gift card and use that while you're on the board or on ship?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
no, that's a great question. So, and I'll get to Rory's here in a second. But so that's another thing that I know Evan does, and everybody else. If you don't know, you can get them through AARP or local grocery store. But you can get Carnival.
That would make sense for Evan. AARP. Zing.
So like even our local groceries that are part of the Kroger brand, they're called Fry's out here in Arizona. You could buy the gift cards and you get fuel points. So, but anyway, those gift cards you can use to pay for your cruise. Like when you make your final payment and things like that, you can use them. You can use them on the ship. You can go to guest services and have the gift card added to your account, and they have these little kiosks. There's one by guest services and one upstairs by the gift shop where you could add it yourself manually. So yeah, absolutely, you can use gift cards, and it's a great way. Like you could save on the AARP one. I think it's 10% off, so you can get $1,000. Let's say $1,000. Like if you're planning a family cruise, so you get $1,000 worth of gift cards for $900, and you saved yourself 10% there. Hey, Beach Life, I got a 4-night Carnival going to Mexico and Catalina for $60 per person. Do you think it will get cheaper, or should I just pay in full now? Wow. I don't know that it will get cheaper now. Now, keep in mind, Rory, that's $60 per person. Evan and I were just talking about the other day. So eventually when you click, when you add port fees and taxes and things like that, it's probably going to be a little bit more than that. But that's a good deal for a 4-night. Absolutely. I try to use the rule. Like sometimes people will ask me when you book, like, what do you gauge it? Like, so like if it's a 3-day or a 4-day or whatever, I kind of figure like a nice hotel, just the hotel is going to cost me around $150 a night. Just in California, it's probably like closer to 200 or more, right? But let's just say on average, it's going to be about $150, and that's just for the hotel, not including food and entertainment. So if I can get a 3-day or a 4-day for $500, I think it's a really good deal. Even when I'm paying double occupancy, it's still not a bad deal. To
Question though about Carnival, if it does get cheaper and you're watching the rates go down, can you call when you book it and like get an adjustment, or are you locked in at whatever you purchase it at?
No, that's an excellent question. So if the rate goes down, and if you have they have this thing called an early saver rate, if you've booked under that rate, and there's just certain rates that they'll do that. If you, let's say you paid $500 and now it's you go and do a mock booking and it's like $400, they'll give you that difference, the $100 difference in this case, as an onboard credit on your next cruise. So always be checking to see if your rate went down or that cruise fare went down, because in most cases, and not all, so please don't say Hani said, depending on what rate you booked under, usually an early saver rate, you'll get that difference as onboard credit.
Awesome.
April, the port fees are around $108. Okay, by themselves, exactly. Yeah. Oh, Sean saying hi, Rocks.
Hi, Sean.
Rory says, I also got a credit card for them because they offered a $200 statement if I spend over $500 my trip. Yeah, that's a really another good deal, Rory. I'm glad you brought that up, and something maybe you might also want to consider, Rocks, if in the future, is that if you get that and get that promotion, the $200 statement. I'm the type of person, if you're definitely good with credit card usage, I wouldn't recommend this if you're the type of person that's not good with credit card usage, but I use mine like a debit card. I use it, I pay it off. I use it, I pay it off. So if you do that, it's a great deal. So when people ask me now, there is, I think it's like $90 a year for the service fee, but at least if you do it for the first year, let's say you don't want to continue to do it, the $200 statement is credit is definitely a good option. So yep, very good. I asked my PVP that. Yeah, she said yes and no. Depends on who you have. She said she would try to get onboard credit for any decrease in rates. Yeah, again, it depends on the rate that you book under. While waiting to board the ship, can we eat our snacks? What about drinks since we can't take them in? Yeah, you can eat them. They used to have a concession stand. Hi, LaKendra. They used to have a concession stand in there, and you could buy drinks and snacks. The drinks and snacks have to be closed when you walk in, when you go through security, for obvious reasons. They don't want spillage, and especially on the security equipment. So, but once you go and sit down, if you want to open your snacks and your drink, you'll be all right.
As long as it's not glass, right? Or plastic. Right. It has to be can or
no glass or plastic. Yeah, they won't even let that through. Should I use my credit card on the ship to pay for drinks? Well, you'll tie that credit card, Rory, to your sail and sign card, which is what I do. I have the same. I have the Carnival MasterCard as well, and that's what I use. I tie that to my sail and sign account. So you'll use your sail and sign card. You can't use your physical credit card. You'll use your sail and sign card that's tied to your credit card to pay for your onboard purchases. Take water. What can we drink while we wait? You could take water if it's in a can or in a like a cardboard container. You can't bring any plastic bottles, so you can drink soda while you wait. If you brought soda in there with you, unfortunately, like I said, and I don't know what I don't know if you've checked in yet or not, but if that's a concern, I would definitely say try to pick a later appointment time, because they'll start boarding around 11-ish, usually around 11. So and so yeah, if you're more concerned about being hungry or getting there early, I mean, it's technically the earliest appointment times are 10 to 10:30. So if you can hang on for about an hour or so, you'll be all right.
Yeah, I think Evan also put in the comments too to bring the Hydro Flask. So you can bring a reusable Hydro Flask, Absolutely. Which is a great, especially if you're going to be out. I don't know in December how much will be in the pool, but if you're going to be out and about or going on excursions in Mexico, it's great to bring that along with you so you have it the whole time.
And that's actually, let me go back to LaKendra's question. So you could bring that refillable water bottle as a hydro or whatever. They have water fountains there, so you can go up to the water fountain and physically use it, or you could fill up your water bottle and drink water that way, LaKendra. So yes, I'm glad that you brought that up. Jennifer Vasquez says, am I able to take my hair curler? Can we take snacks on our carry-on bag?
Important question.
Yeah.
Do I need to bring my hair dryer? Do they provide one? My hair curler, all of those, hair straightener?
Yeah, the hair dryers they have in the rooms, obviously I don't use them, but from people that use them, especially that have thicker hair, they said they're not great. So I would, if you have thicker hair and need a more powerful hair dryer, You could bring your there's a list of things that you can and can't bring. I think even though somebody was telling me that they had friends that were told that they can't bring them on, but the hair curlers and things like that are on the exceptions list. So you can always find that on the carnivalhelp.com website and stuff like that, but it's allowed. And the snacks, yeah, you can definitely just make sure they're not opened when you're checking in. Hi, Bree. Welcome in. Hey there. Hey, Rich. What's going on? Evan's answering the Kendra. It said no annual fee when I applied recently. There's a hidden fee. Maybe when I applied. Now I've had mine many years, so maybe that was an issue. So maybe I need to close it and reopen it with no annual fee. But I'm almost positive I pay an annual fee on mine. But again, I've had mine for a long time. Rich is saying if you're a diabetic, take snacks just in case your blood sugar drops. Yes, absolutely. Is there a luggage size limit or luggage limit per person and weight limit? There is. Yolania, I have a document, and I know I need to get back to Roxy with the questions, but I have a document, and this is probably a good time to say if you're on Facebook, come join the Carnival Radiance and Long Beach Cruisers Facebook group. I admin that page. There's a bunch of other admins or moderators in there that can help with questions. But I also have a bunch of documents in there that include answers to many of these questions that Roxy's asking and people that are asking in here. So a lot of this stuff are already in these documents. So I would encourage you to come and find that information is in there for the luggage size. I'll come back to that one just because I'm getting behind. And I'd have to go up and look at the particulars, but I'll talk about that in a second. Hydro Flask. The hairdryer is not very good. I bring a travel one I like. Amazon.com has a great cruise section. Recommended items. Size limit for carry-on because it has to fit through security. Exactly. Thank you, Rich. I was just going to get back to that one, but that's what I was going to let them know. I take my hair straightener, says Sean. And Roxy asked about using their luggage. Okay, so let me go back to the luggage one. I just want to make sure I got through anything else. So, and I didn't. Sorry, Roxy, when you asked about the embarkation, I took you all to the terminal, but I didn't take you to the parking structure. So when you park, in this case, you're riding with us. But if you were to go on your own, or for anybody else here, so you could park in the parking structure. You pay when you leave. It's a multi-level parking structure. But you pay when you leave. It's $23 a day for the parking. When you park, you have a couple options. You could do a drop-off where you can drop off your luggage and your passengers and then go park yourself, or go park and then take all your luggage with you and go to a porter. You have the option of taking your luggage on with you, and I'll talk about that in a second. I don't recommend it, but if you do, or you come after 2 p.m., the porters won't be there. You don't have a choice. But usually, depending on the size of your bag, $2 to $3 a bag is what people will tip to the porters. You give the porters your bag, they'll take it from there. It's one less thing you have to, because just remember, until your cabin is ready at 1:30, you're going to be pulling that luggage around with you, and you really don't want to do that. And the elevators are the most, they're so busy during that embarkation time. And anyway, again, if you don't have to, for the $2, save yourself the $2, $3, whatever per bag. As far as your carry-ons are concerned, as Rich was saying earlier, it needs to fit through that scanner. Now, I know Rich worked at the Tampa terminal. At Long Beach, from what I was told by the port employees, if you come after 2 p.m. and you have to bring your luggage on or whatever, you'll have to bring it in, and they can't fit it through the scanner. So what they'll do is they'll go take it to a table and open it up and go through that. So avoid, again, another reason to avoid, if it's a large luggage and they can't fit it through the scanner, now you have to go to a side table and have your luggage gone through. Just, again, there's no benefit to. I know, some people like to do it. It's just not a thing I would mention. Magnets are great for hanging hats or your lanyard on the wall. I think that was one of the questions you were asking us about. We'll get to that here in a little bit because we haven't got to our cabin yet. How much does Carnival hold against a credit card on the 4-day cruise? I don't know the answer to that one, to be honest. I want to say it's a couple $100. If somebody in the chat knows, I don't know, honestly, what the answer is to that one. It's okay, Vonavi. Vonavi will be joining us on that cruise. How much are drinks on average? I would say for those mixed drinks and stuff, anywhere from $10 to $12. They'll have like a drink of the day per day. And this is going to bring back bad memories to Evan. So I was asking these questions, like, because they took away the Embarkation Day happy hour. So people were asking me, like, are there any like drink specials? So I was asking one of the bartenders like one evening time, and it was so cold, and this guy's like talking in circles, and Evan is freezing, and he ends up just walking off because the guy just kept saying the same thing over and over. But anyway, sorry, just kind of brought back that memory. So I was asking him about the drink specials, and they always have a drink of the day over at the Red Frog Rum Bar and the tequila, whatever, iguana bar or something like that, that are there on the Lido deck. So I'll always look for those.
And that's why I think I opted for the drink package, right? So if you're going to drink more than 6 drinks a day, I think it's $60 a day for the drink package. They do limit you to 15 in a 24-hour period, I think, but I don't know if I'm going to hit 15, but 6 a day, I could see that, right? If you're doing like a nice boozy breakfast brunch drink, and then lunch while you're hanging out on the ship, and then of course in the evening with dinner. I could see, especially if you're sharing that or gifting drinks to people that are joining you, it would add up. So
yeah, be careful with that. Of course, that those drinks are supposed to be for you, so you have to make sure that that I mean, I know people do it, so, but for the purposes of this live show, you're not supposed to do that. Just keep that in mind, guys. You're not supposed to do that. I know people do it all the time. If you do it, let me just say this, and I'll just leave it at that. If you do it, don't do it right in front of the bartenders because you could lose your drink package. So, but the one thing I wanted to add to what you just said was, so that's just the alcohol, right? If you're hitting that 6 drinks a day or whatever, but that doesn't it also includes your sodas if you drink sodas, milkshakes, energy drinks, coffee at the Java Blue, that things like that. So if you add all those things, it actually does end up becoming a pretty good deal to do the drink package for sure. If I'm getting dropped off at the Long Beach port, is there a fee to get close to the port? No, if they're just dropping you off and leaving, there's no fee. As long as they're not staying longer than an hour, I think, or whatever. But if it's just a drop off, you'll be fine. Like the Ubers, I've been dropped off by an Uber before. They don't have to pay any fees. Remember not to back your passport or cruise papers in the back. Oh, hey, Dave. Yeah, so that's another really good thing. Again, going back to the embarkation part, is when you bring your whether it's a backpack or a purse or whatever, make sure to include your passport, your cruise papers, all in that. Do not put them in your checked luggage. So
what do you recommend we put in the carry-on? What do we need? Like a phone charger bank, swimsuit? What do we need in your? What do you take in your carry-on?
Yeah, I definitely bring all my electronics with me. I'm just not comfortable, so I'll have like my regular bag that has my clothes and things like that, and then my electronics, like my GoPro stuff and things like that. And for a couple of reasons. One, because I want it with me, so I have it. I don't have to wait for it, because sometimes the bags don't get there until that 1:30 time. Sometimes later, right? Depending on how busy they are. So I want to make sure. And then there's times that like certain things I want to bring with me to the meet and greet. So I want to have those in that carry-on bag. Like bathing suit, as you mentioned. Like if you plan on using the hot tub or the pools, then you'll want to have that with you as well. Again, because it won't be. Some people will wear it underneath their clothing as well, so you could do that. But those are just some of the common things. Just anything that you don't want, that anything that would be in your check bag, or things that you don't carry, you'll get whenever you get to them.
So you need like medication. I probably might need to bring some like Dramamine, the non-drowsy kind, just in case. Do you recommend taking kind of Dramamine the day before or right as you get on the ship? What is the kind of recommendation of the cruise community? What does everybody say to do? Eat a green apple.
Yeah. I'm going to defer the Dramamine and all that to the chat to see. I luckily I'm not one that gets seasick and never has, but I've seen people, I think that will take the Dramamine as a preemptive strike just in case. But just remember not to take the non-drowsy. But you mentioned the green apple. Those are some cruise hacks that people have mentioned. Green apples, those little ginger chews and things like that. So Carnival did hold $100 hold on the 3-day. Okay, so for the person that was asking about the hold, Dave is saying it was $100 hold on the 3-day cruise. There's a bartender that will explain to you if you're going to freeze. Yeah, that was the thing I was just talking about. You have a 15 drink limit regardless if you have the drink package. Absolutely. Okay, so it could be up to $200 is what Rory's telling them. Roy says, is there a drop-off location for Uber close to the terminal? You'll get dropped off. The Uber drop-off is right there at the terminal. So wherever, even the people that are dropping you off, whether it's your family members or if you're dropping off your family members and then going to park, everybody uses the same place. I don't know. Obviously, you're on YouTube. I don't know if you like watching YouTube videos, Roy. I did a video that specifically covers all this stuff with parking, special assistance, the embarkation process. That's really, really helpful. So check that if you're a visual person, right? But I can just explain to you or answer your question here that it's right there, like right where you would go and give your luggage to the porters.
You can always add it to the description later too, so that way it's a quick link for him to watch it.
Good point. Yeah, absolutely. For the drink package, do both people staying in one room have to have the Cheers package? Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know of any exceptions. I know some people said they've got one, but I'm sure you have to jump through a bunch of hoops. I think it's a medical exception, but typically it's very rare to get an exception. So yes, both people staying in the room. If it's two adults, if there's somebody under 21 in the room with you, then no, only the adult needs to buy it. Is it worth buying a drink package if you're not an alcohol drinker, but you like to drink juice or coffee? No, it'd be much, unless you drink a lot of juice or coffee, absolutely not. It's very expensive for that. You're much better off. The coffee is like $3.75 and for a grande, or I don't know the size difference, but anyway, for the medium, it's like $3.75, and the larger one is $4.25. So no, absolutely not. Meds that you need. Yeah, that's what you were saying. First timer here. How do you secure seats for the theater and comedy club? It's first come, first serve on Carnival. They don't have like a reservation process. And I would tell you, it's I'm sure this is probably one of the questions Roxy's going to ask later, but part of the activities, the comedy shows, and now the ships, and early on after the restart, it was not an issue. One thing I'm finding now, and I've been cruising every month since January, so I've watched. You have to. Internet is starting to glitch out a bit. Oh no. I'm having some internet issues.
I can still hear you.
Let me know if you guys can hear me.
I can hear you.
I have to cut this one short. Oh no. Let's see here. Let me know if you've got mail. I know.
Evan, dial up.
I know. No kidding, right?
It's connecting. The man is running from AOL.
I think you're back. Yeah, I had an issue. They had an outage earlier today, and apparently it might have resurfaced. I don't know what happened. I was really hoping that it wouldn't resurface, but hopefully we'll be okay. We'll go a little bit longer. If it happens again, we may have to cut this short. So let me. So I'm going to try to get to some of these questions. If not, what I'll do is I want to get through Roxy's questions. I'll go back and try to go through these questions. If you guys, I'm trying to think of the best way for me to answer them. If you can connect through if you're on Facebook, connect to the Carnival Radiance and Long Beach Cruisers group and come in there and ask the questions if I don't get to your questions here. All right, go ahead, Roxy, before I lose my tin can.
Oh, I was just going to say, so it's 1:30, you can get into your room. Do you unpack right away? Do you ask your steward for a robe? I mean, what are some of the pro tips that our first timers can really benefit from?
So yeah, definitely if you want to robe, they don't have the robes in the room anymore. I think unless you're in the Cloud9 spa rooms or whatever. So you could ask for one. People like to use them when they go to the hot, especially now it's chilly, so they like to use them when they go to the hot tub. So put them on right after they get out of the hot tub. You can ask for ice, like if you tell your room steward, I'd love to have a bucket of ice, and if you wouldn't mind, please refilling it, every day. They'll refill it. Just make sure that you tip them a little extra just for that. But yeah, so for the most part, those are the two main things. Oh, extra hangers. So especially if you're sharing a room with somebody else, you may need some extra hangers. So there's a couple things there. So the hangers, the ice, and robes are what I would say.
And then to turn the lights on, you need to keep your card in the sensor, right? Or is that, where did I see that?
Yeah, you don't have to use your specific card. You could put a business card in there, an old credit card, old gift card. Actually, on this last cruise, the room steward folded up a piece of paper and just put it in there. So as long as there's something in there, it'll be fine.
Okay. Little things like that are going to make a big difference to know. So thank you. I've also read on your quick tips that oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. Sorry. Evan, if you could, I think you already are. Evan, if you could try to answer some of the questions that people are asking in the chat, just because I want to get through Roxy's, and then if we have time and I don't get kicked out again, I'll go back and try to make sure they're answered. But go ahead, Rox. Sorry.
And yes, I need extra hangers for all my 12 bathing suits. Yes, Evan. I'm reading his comments, but then just not acknowledging them. Just kidding, Evan. So yeah, so basically just first thing when you get to the room, unpack, ask for ice, ask for a robe. How do you turn on your lights and keep them on if you need to? I read also on your quick tips, the toilet flushing is really loud. So something new to get used to. As far as sound, I mean, can you hear the room next to you? Do you need earplugs at night? Just some other tips to be mindful of, because I know when you stay in a hotel, right, that's all I can really compare it to. So what is it like?
Yeah, honestly, the problem isn't usually the room next to you, unless they're playing their TV really loud or whatever. But I've never really had an issue with the rooms or cabins next to me. What is an issue, and it just seems to be getting worse and worse, and maybe it's because it's the weekend cruise and it's more of a booze cruise, is people in the hallways just being super loud. And I get it. I understand. They don't know if you're an early sleeper, late sleeper in the morning, or trying to take a nap during the day. So I know nobody's doing it purposely, but if you are a light sleeper, I would highly recommend earplugs, because people, again, are in the hallways and screaming down the hallways or talking to their friends really loud. Sometimes they're just standing right outside the door talking to each other. It's just the nature of that type of cabin living, if you will. So I would, if you or anybody else, if you're a sensitive sleeper, definitely bring earplugs. I like to bring a fan, not only sometimes just to have that air blowing on me, but for the white noise of the fan as well.
Got it. All right. I know Sean brings one, so we got that covered. And then as far as just tipping, you kind of mentioned, how much cash should I carry with me daily just to be tipped? Do I tip out daily? Do I tip out at the end? Do I tip a bartender every time I get a drink? Or do I just add a tip to the check that I get? How does the tipping on the ship work?
So the gratuities, depending on what you choose, you could do prepaid gratuities. I can't remember what you chose. Prepaid gratuities, or they'll add them on at the end of your cruise. So so your overall gratuities are covered. Now, keep in mind that not everybody is part of that gratuity sharing plan. So just recently, when Evan and I were at the steakhouse, even though on the steakhouse reservation or on the steakhouse slip it comes out $0 and it says optional gratuity, and there's been this misconception that the gratuities are included. They are not. So anybody watching this, we confirmed it. We asked the manager, we asked the server, and they are not included in the price of your specialty dining. So if you feel that, I'm not here to have that gratuity debate, but it's not included. I just want to break that myth that the gratuities are included. I also like to, tip bartenders, and I'll bring, ones and things like that, just to be able to tip different people that help me and do things throughout the cruise on the ship. And of course, when you're off the ship and Ensenada in this case, or whatever, you would want, tipping money for tipping there. But on the ship itself, you don't need large bills, just some smaller bills, usually ones and stuff like that, just to tip. And I'll be honest with you, I know some people are like, oh, well, I shouldn't have to tip more. Well, listen, if you go to a bar on land, we all know if you tip that bartender well, guess whose attention you're going to have every time. So
exactly.
It is what it is. If you want that bartender or bartender's attention, just add a few extra bucks. It's not, it's up to you. So
what about at the casino? So that you get drinks there, right? And then the casino play, do you need cash for that, or is it all just on your card?
So unlike Las Vegas, so this is another thing. In Las Vegas, if you're playing, you get free drinks. That is not, you have either through your Cheers package or you pay per drink while you're sitting in the casino. Now, some people do get offers, the drinks on us in the casino, or, like a drinks everywhere. Those are special promotions. But for the general person, you have to pay for your drinks, individually or whatever. But yeah, when you're sitting there, there'll be servers walking around asking if you want a drink. But I just want to make sure for first timers, it's not like, if you've been to Vegas, it's not like Vegas. Those are not free drinks.
I see. Okay. And then going to your room, let's say after, my first night, I want to order in breakfast. Can you order room service? Is that included? Is that an extra charge? How does that work?
Yeah, so the room service is still included. I want to say from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., the breakfast is available still for free. After 10 a.m. until the following 6 a.m., everything you order through room service is at a charge.
Okay, all right. And then for my room, do I need to bring shampoo, conditioner, body wash? Do they provide that? What comes in the room that I don't need to worry about?
So they'll provide you with shampoo and body wash, and then a little bar soap, to wash your hand at the sink. Some people don't care much for the shampoo or body wash, so they'll bring their own. But if you need conditioner, that's one thing they don't provide. If you're okay with the, whatever generic shampoo and body wash, then just bring conditioner.
Okay, and any size limitations airline would, right? So because we're checking our luggage, we can bring any size. There's no limitations.
No size limitations. Since now, if you're flying in, right, you have to consider airline restrictions. But if you're driving in, no restrictions.
Right. Okay. So that brings me back down to Mark's question. As a first timer, what are some of the activities that we can do? Like, what are like the main things that your first cruise you either participate in or you make sure to for what we recommend?
Oh no, I got cut out again. So I think your question was about activities on the ship. So I would definitely say try to attend at least one of the shows that they have. So right now, the two shows that they're doing is Rock Revolution and Soulbound. If you could attend both, that's nice. I've watched both. If I had to pick one, I would pick Soulbound. I really liked Soulbound a little bit more than Rock Revolution. I just like the music and the show a little bit better. But definitely try to go at least to one comedy show for sure. I love the deck parties, even if you're not a dancer. Evan's not a dancer, but he still loves to go and listen to the music and watch people dance and people watch. So I would definitely recommend. Now, on a 3-day, it's packed. They're trying to pack in a bunch of things at one time. So one thing I would tell people, if you can, try to eat dinner as early as possible so you can participate in the nightly activities. If you do a later dinner, you're going to probably miss out on some of these later activities.
Okay. And then while on board, there's other expenses that you don't really consider, just that go into your purchase, right? So there's Wi-Fi options. I think there's 3 different options you can purchase. The drink package, there's the bubbles package if you just want the soda, there's spa. I think it's cheaper if you book the spa on the Friday or the first day that you go than any other time throughout the weekend. So just, I guess, would you be prepared? how do we prepare for these extra charges that could appear? Wi-Fi, I would imagine, is going to be really important. Is there a difference between the packages?
Well, so a lot of that stuff you can pre-purchase, so you can prepare yourself. And if you're on a budget or anything like that, I would definitely look to see what's available and what you could pre-purchase. I know Evan loves to pre-purchase because he doesn't like to have those surprises. So he'll pay for, if he knows that he has things in advance, he'll just pay them off little by little in advance if he has a cruise booked out. As far as on the ship, I mean, there shouldn't be anything additional unless you decide to add something later on, a specialty dining, or you want to buy something at the gift shops, things like that. But there shouldn't be any additional costs that you aren't aware of other than what you've actually used your sales side card to purchase.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. And then I know I see a lot of comments coming through, and Evan's doing a great job at answering them. So definitely excited for the activities and the events that we're going to be part of. The sail away party, that's kind of where everybody gets together on the big deck and you guys dance and, you know, sail away. That seems to be a pretty big activity. Would you recommend that for first timers?
Yeah, definitely. I want to go back because you did ask about the Wi-Fi. So they have 3 plans: the social plan, the value plan, and the premium. And I just saw somebody asking about it in the chat as well. I know I'm behind here, but I can see the advanced over here. But so I can tell you, it's been terrible lately. I'm going to be perfectly honest. It's been terrible on the ship, and I usually mainly just use it for Facebook and things like that to update and upload pictures, etc. And I had better. What it felt like, I had better coverage or better connection with the social plan to at least do Facebook. So I'll be honest with you, the next few cruises, I downgraded myself from the premium to the social because I was like, and I know it's not a huge difference, but it's enough to where it's like, why am I paying for premium service when I'm getting it? So if all you want to do, the reason why I say that, if you're only going to do social media stuff, and in this case, I don't go live from the ship anymore. Again, it's just maybe when they upgrade in the future, if they go to Starlink or something like that, but I don't go live from the ship or anything like that. So really, I'm paying all this extra just to do Facebook. Why not just pay for the social media plan?
Well, and you have to pay per device. And so for like April, it's traveling with a big family and a big group. It can get really costly. I think the most expensive plan was almost $50. And I was like, this is the most expensive Wi-Fi I've ever paid for. But just another thing, a watch out, right, is to put your phone when you're at the port in airplane mode so that you don't get any type of roaming charges. Now, again, that's going to limit your ability to send text messages. So you want to use an app that has the messaging feature, right? So what do you recommend for large groups or messaging each other while on board?
And I know they have the chat app that's $5, but I've heard mixed reviews on that. So if you really need to get a hold, like in January, I'll be cruising with my 14-year-old daughter. So I'm going to get us both the social media plan so we can reach each other through through Facebook Messenger or through WhatsApp or something like that, because I don't want to rely on the chat app. It's been inconsistent, and if I want to get a hold of her, so I would definitely say at least get the cheaper, the social media plan to be able to interact, especially with your teenagers if you're trying to get a hold of them. And it's a great point about turning into airplane mode at the latest at sail away. Like when the sail away party starts, go into airplane mode if you need like a reminder, like, oh, sail away party, airplane mode. It's time to cruise. They do the bye-bye, goodbye. So let me segue into the sail away party. So, but just prior to that, sometimes like in the Facebook groups, if you join the Facebook groups, they'll have meet and greets. So in our sailing, I'll be hosting the meet and greet. So what I usually do is I do it like at 3:00, and it will go from 3 to 4-ish. And then afterwards, the group will go, whoever decides to want to go up to the sailor party. And to me, that's like the start of the cruise. That, again, even if you're not into that, people are just sitting at the bars having their drinks. So if you're more of a drinker than you are,
that's where I'll be. I'll be waving.
Yeah, so you could be right there having your drink and watching people. But to me, that's like the kickoff, right? That's okay, we're on vacation. We're cruising. I highly recommend going to it. You'll see people all around, like up on the upper decks and watching, and it's just it's just a fun way to get the cruise started.
Awesome. Awesome. So definitely remind me to put my phone in airplane mode. When we get back on debarkation day, when we return, when are we required to leave the ship? I mean, do they tell us take your things and go? Can we get breakfast first? I mean, what does this look like? Do we carry our own luggage off, or what is that? I know because we're going to be driving back to Arizona, so you're going to be like, get your stuff and let's go. But what does that look like for a first timer? When we get back to port.
So yeah, you can. Let me answer the first question. Yes, you could definitely have breakfast before you leave. They'll feed you before you hit the road. They'll start that embarkation process or debarkation, excuse me, very early in the morning, and then it'll go throughout. They'll call different zones, and you'll just listen for that. They'll give you debarkation instructions. They used to do a debarkation show. I think they still do, where they explain everything. So as a first timer, I would definitely say. I attended it with Evan because I didn't know if anything changed, right? When we were on the Panorama in October last year, we both attended it together because I wanted to know, hey, what's changed since the restart? So I would highly recommend going to the debarkation show, reading the debarkation paperwork they provide you with, and it'll explain the process. You have a couple of choices to answer your question. You could leave your luggage out the night before, and they'll take it off for you and put it in like a area in the terminal where you can pick up your luggage. Evan and I, we just typically keep our luggage and then just walk it off with us. I highly recommend that, especially if you're in a hurry to leave, because if you are in a hurry to leave to catch a flight and that kind of stuff, they'll call. That's the first group they'll call us. And if you have an early flight and if you can prove to them that even if you're in a later group, they'll let you off early to make sure you catch your flight. So yes, if you're in any kind of rush or anything like that, definitely bring it. And again, for me, it's just the convenience factor. It's not a big deal for me to just carry that luggage off. So it's your choice.
You have to depart by zone, or like, are we given like a time window of when can we just get off at 8 a.m. or do we have to wait, I guess?
So they'll call it by groups and zones. I could tell you that not everybody follows that rule, and they're not checking, honestly. And I hate to say that but to be honest with you, they're not really checking. So, and again, yeah, I mean, especially the earlier, like if you're really just trying to get off early, that's the best time, because most people, and I'm one of them, like I stay in that room as long as I can, try to get my sleep, because if you're out late the night before and that kind of thing. So really, yeah, it's not, but they do call by levels, right? So he'll say levels 1, 3, and 5, or floors 1, 3, and 5. That's 1, 3, and 5. Excuse me. So.
Okay. I do see an interesting question in there about that I forgot to ask, because I am interested in the elegant night. So how formal is the dress for the fancy dinner? I mean, are there people wearing tuxedos and elegant gowns? What is the dress code for something like that?
So you'll see everything. You'll see from tuxedos and ball gowns to the main thing is in Carnival over the years has become more lax. They as far as, I mean, I don't think they're going to turn you away unless you come in like a bathing suit or whether it's a woman wearing a bathing suit or a man wearing like a bathing suit, shorts or whatever.
No shirt, no shoes, no service. Got it.
That kind of thing. Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely good.
Got it.
But if you choose to wear nice jeans and a nice shirt or a polo or things like that, they won't turn you away. Again, it's really your vacation, your comfort level, and they're not expecting anybody to go out and rent a tuxedo or buy a suit just to go to elegant night. No, that's not going to happen.
Okay. I see Sean in the comments. She doesn't get too fancy. Well, Sean, we're going to turn up. We're going to get fancy. And Evan can wear his Dockers. Yeah, and a polo.
Exactly.
That's kind of all my questions I had planned for an hour. So I know we're a little bit over, but I know there's more questions in the comments if you wanted to tackle those now or continue on.
Yeah. And you're welcome to hang on with me if you'd like. Or
sure.
Okay, cool. Let me just make sure. I know Evan got a lot of these, so I'll just make sure that for seasickness medicine, and for people watching this on the replay, I'm going to click on the one so they can see these answers. As far as seasickness medicine, it really depends on how prone you are to getting sick. Thank you, Bill. Roy says, I've used the let's see, too late. Frozen like I was on Sunday.
Did I jinx us? I
I
feel
know.
bad. I'm like, I can hear you. You're just a little frozen.
Bad with the
Thanks,
connection.
Evan. Just for you.
Still looks good. Test.
Mm-hmm. I can hear you. Thanks, Sean.
I know. Okay, I wanted to really go through all these, but I think it's just going to be an issue. I was almost going to cancel this live because I was worried that this was going to happen when we had the outage earlier today. So I apologize to everybody. Sorry, I'm not going to continue on because it's going to be really hard to watch on a replay. So I want to thank everybody that's here. I need to call my.
Thank you, everyone.
I lost Roxy.
I'm still
You're
here.
back.
You're here. I was just saying bye.
Did I lose you again, Roxy? You're back.
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you fine. You're just frozen, so I can, like, you're audible.
Oh, okay. Anyway, it's all right. But thank you, Roxy. I'm going to go ahead and just say goodnight to everybody. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I'll try to get these internet issues resolved before the next live show. Thanks again, everybody. Roxy, thank you, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, honey. Bye, everyone.